hear me in the back? Yes. Okay, everyone, on behalf of the family, thank you so much for coming. First thing I want to say is, no, Dad, we did not get a discount because you're missing a leg. So, my name is Mandy Rockette. I was named after my daddy, and while he is Rocky to some and Frank to many, he will always be Big Rocky to me, as I am his little Rocky. Me and Dad didn't just share a name, we are both Virgos. That means we are the most sweetest, thoughtful, and loving people you will ever meet, 90% of the time. But that 10%, it's bad. We can be hard, mean, stubborn, and bossy. We often find ourselves getting over things so quickly and wondering why everyone else is still so upset. Don't sweat the small stuff, Dad would say. But we don't realize no one else gets over that 10% so easily. The one thing everyone gets wrong about both Dad and I is they think we are so tough and strong. And of course, when we were little, we saw Dad as the strongest man in the world. In fact, Kelly and I would tell Paul that he had peanut muscles and Dad had watermelon muscles. But when it came to being tough, I can tell you for sure, it's not true. Sorry, Dad, but any strength I have comes from Mom. Dad was the biggest softie ever, a big, big baby. He was kind, sensitive, mushy, and corny. Being his little twin, we loved the same sappy music while everyone else liked the more upbeat stuff. And I always found Dad to be hysterical, even when no one else thought so. For instance, one year, everyone else waited in the car, and me and Dad went into the check cashing store. He was trying to cash his last paycheck before Christmas, and they refused because he didn't have an ID. Dad was furious and yelled, "Merry fucking Christmas!" and ripped up the check and walked out. My mom's face was filled with horror when we got to the car because she knew something bad happened the way I was hysterically laughing. I will share one time that I did not find Dad funny. See, Dad went through decades-long phases, from demo days to paintball days to dark days to fishing. Well, Dad was so excited to show me these cool purple and pink paintballs he got. My eyes lit up. I couldn't wait to see them. He went to pop the trunk as I stood there anxiously, and to my horror, there were no paintballs. Instead, there was a wild boar head staring at me. Not funny, Dad. I'm still waiting for my girly paintballs. As an adult, hindsight shows me there was some tough times in the 80s and 90s, as for any young family. But we never knew it. There was never a Christmas, a Thanksgiving, a birthday, or any day that we didn't have everything we needed and usually everything we wanted too. Mom and Dad made sure of it. I won't take all of your time, but I want to share a few small things dear to my heart. Somewhere between Rocky 103 and Frank, there was my daddy. He was the one who would give me his hand as we would cross the street, and I would always wrap my hand around his thumb, because to me, it was just so big. I have so many memories of camping, rolling down the sand hills at Wildwood Beach, playing with the pollywogs at the river in Beaverkill. I remember not wanting my daddy to be alone, and when he was an overnight truck driver, we would go cross-country together in the summertime when I was out of school. We saw the most beautiful skylines and storms across the U.S. But when he had to go alone, he called Mom constantly, from a payphone. He wrote and mailed her mushy love letters and always sent Paul, Kelly, and I cute postcards from wherever he was. He loved going to Little Rock so that he could find little trinkets for me. But my best memories were long before the fisherman you all knew and loved. It was when I was a little tiny puppy, as Dad would say. And we would stop at the store and I'd get a yoo-hoo and a brownie with a salt bagel and cream cheese. Dad would get a yoo-hoo, some weird halava thing, and an everything bagel with cream cheese, whitefish, and lox. We would go out fishing on a tiny aluminum boat. Remember, I'm a Virgo. So sweet, so kind, but not pleasant when I'm upset. So Dad always tried to make me happy. Well, I always refused to go back home until I caught more fish than Dad. So we would stay out late sometimes, but we always came home with lots of fish. Now, if Dad told this story, he would claim he had fish on his line that he would sneakily try to knock off so that we could go home. But we all knew I caught more fish than him, always. There's a million more memories, but I'll keep them close to my heart. In closing, I will just mention that I talk to Dad every day still. I encourage everyone to, because he's a big softie who loves attention and affection. Big Rocky, I want you to annoy the hell out of Mom every day like you used to. She actually misses it. And when she talks to you, stop ignoring her. You did that for 45 years. Visit her in her dreams. Leave her signs that you're still here. And when she's had enough of you, come visit me. I love you. Now I'm going to introduce my son, Julian. He's going to play my dad's favorite song.